Okay, so this video is going to be about my thoughts regarding this sort of UK nerve agent attack, sort of assassination attempt using a nerve agent, supposedly. And it's raised some interesting things, so I'll go through those in this video. So, immediately, as you'd guess, they're blaming the Russians for it with no real evidence Russia had any involvement in this. So, the reason I don't watch the news quite often is because it does have always that fake news agenda of what have the Russians done now. I was joking with people in the stream the other day that if you lost your car keys, Russian hackers were probably behind it. Anyway, so what basically happened was a former Russia spy and his daughter were essentially poisoned in a public place in the UK, I think it was in Salisbury, and then the first responding officer became critically ill as well when he attended the scene. And apparently all three of the victims show signs of nerve agent poisoning. Now, I've done videos on nerve agents before. Nerve agents are basically a really nasty type of chemical weapon. Normally they're organophosphates or organic phosphate things. Nerve agents are basically weaponized pesticides. They're designed to disrupt the nervous system in the body, stopping your body being able to communicate properly with your vital organs. So basically everything is like, your heart rate isn't stable, your breathing isn't stable, things like that, because it's like the on-off switches in your body aren't responding properly. Incredibly deadly weapons, first made in Nazi Germany prior to World War II. The thing that makes nerve agents so deadly is they kill very quickly through inhalation and eye contact, but if it simply touches your skin, it can kill through skin contact. The most deadly of the nerve agents is VX, and VX is so deadly that it only requires about 15 milligrams or something like that to touch your skin, and death can result within minutes to an hour if it's touched your skin. Now, one of the things that really annoys me is lots of media sources have been saying that nerve agents are incredibly hard to make and only big governments from various nations would have the capacity to make them. And that's simply not true. Now, obviously, things like VX, the most deadly of the nerve agents, do require very specialist equipment to make and scientific know-how, but nerve agents themselves, or chemicals that have similar effects to nerve agents, can be very easy to get hold of. As said, most pesticides have nerve agent qualities. If you have like wasp spray in your house for killing wasp nests, that's basically a watered down nerve agent. So simply nerve agent existing doesn't mean that a big state has made it. As said, they are very easy for people to get hold of if they kind of have the know-how. Now, not on the WMD, weapon of mass destruction sort of scale of it, but poisoning somebody with nerve agent type things isn't all that difficult, considering the amount of people that die and develop cancers and everything else from using pesticides every year. So, because all three people exposed to it have not yet died, I don't think it's really going to be something like VX. Whether or not it was something like Tabun or Sarin, that remains to be seen. However, obviously, what I'm trying to get across here is that because nerve agents, if made properly, are so deadly, if this has been used and it's failed to kill anybody so far, but it's made lots of people very ill, it's more likely to be some sort of very strong pesticide or a poorly made nerve agent. Now, in 1995, on the Tokyo subway, there was apparently a sarin nerve agent attack, but it wasn't actually proper sarin which was used, and this is a similar thing. 4,000 people were made ill, but only about 12 to 20 people died, depending on the sources. And basically what happened there was the cult that made the sarin didn't actually make it properly. So rather than having something as effective as sarin, if you look at the chart you can see just how deadly sarin is, they made something that was essentially like watered down sarin. So the 4,000 odd people that became ill from it would have died probably if that was really sarin used, not a poorly synthesized version of sarin. So that could be what we see here. The nerve agent that was attempted to be used wasn't used properly, or it hadn't been made properly, so thankfully it wasn't as deadly as it could have been. Now, this has raised some important questions. One of the things I found very interesting, and I'll include a picture of this in this video, is that the Ministry of Defence has all of a sudden said, oh no, we need to buy masks from Avon again because the GSRs don't work properly. I mean, we've known about this for a while, but it's just something, I found quite interesting that all of a sudden they want to buy Avon masks again when they've realised there's a problem. So, as I said, I can't tell you who's done this attack or anything like that, but as I was saying, there's lots of stuff in the media about this that's completely untrue, especially when they start saying that nerve agents can only be made, or deployed by government agencies. As we saw, there's the Tokyo sarin attack in 1995 that was, very devastating, even though it only killed 12 to 20 people. But that was, done by a weird cult, not even a government agency. But as the first responders to the scene became ill, and apparently some news sources say up to 20 police had to be treated for, very minor sort of nerve agent poisoning, it does raise the question, are our emergency services sort of trained and able to deal with this sort of stuff? As said, obviously, the MOD's now decided that it's having to rush out and buy loads of new masks because their current masks aren't really good enough, which has been known about for a while. This also reminds me when there was that sort of chemical chlorine scare type incident at Beachy Head, and in the photos of that, lots of the emergency responders weren't wearing suitable protective equipment. A lot of them had dust masks on. A dust mask will not do anything to protect you from chlorine gas, which is an inorganic vapour. You need an ABEX style filter for that, for dealing with inorganic vapour, not a simple paper mask. So I think this has created, the worrying thing that compared to conventional terrorism, chemical warfare terrorism is probably a place where the UK is quite vulnerable. Obviously people have known about that for years and most plots have foiled, but obviously it's something to be aware of. And as said, that's one of the reasons why I advise people really to buy a respirator just in case, because you can get some respirators and working filters really cheaply. As I've said before, protecting yourself from nerve agent is kind of next to impossible, because you need the full NBC gear on in advance, ready to use it. It's not something you can quickly put on in a few seconds if you think there might be nerve agent around, but having a respirator is certainly going to protect you from a lot of stuff, especially stuff terrorists could make more easily. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it, because I know lots of people have been asking me over and over again what my thoughts were on this. Using nerve agent, if it was nerve agent, to poison somebody is a really cowardly and sort of horrible thing to do, simply for the fact, as well as the person you're directly targeting, has the potential to, kill lots of other people in the area. You wouldn't, if you were trying to assassinate somebody and not have any collateral damage, use a small nuclear device or a dirty bomb. So, it's the same sort of thing with a chemical weapon. It's very dangerous to do it in a public place for an assassination attempt. So hopefully they'll catch whoever's responsible for this. But as said, there's been lots of things in the news about nerve agents where they really don't know what they're talking about, because they try and sensationalise it a lot. So that's my thoughts on this whole thing.